Hey everybody, just a quick preface to this episode. First of all, no matter what I say in these episodes or on these recordings, I am not a proponent of violence or hate or anything like that. I will say, over the last few years, I've lost a lot of faith in humanity, and I don't have much hope for the future. I don't say this to garner sympathy, just to let you know, give you context of where my brain is right now. My father and brother and I, while we're playing, in this episode, it's likely that we talk at great length about what you would call politics. If you are not interested in anybody else's political viewpoint and don't want to hear that garbage, then I recommend you just skip the episode altogether. I didn't look real closely at each episode, but I know that at some points we're talking about it in some of these episodes. So, just letting you know, you can skip this episode if you don't want to hear anybody else's political viewpoints. And to reiterate one more time, I'm not a proponent of violence or hate. I just have very little hope for humanity. So don't sue me. All right. Be kind to each other, and here's the episode.
Okay, I got that dug spiked.
Yeah, that was kind of a come and get it big moment right there at the end of Warlock. And she buries that book on the Great Salt Plain.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't get a familiar to go out there and
Oh yeah, I
dig
mean,
it up.
like, with stuff like that.
As soon as they find it.
Yeah.
There's a zombie out there on the roof.
Yeah, I seen.
What are you doing? You know, I can shoot him and draw him in. Go night fighting. Eat him.
You just lost in UFC, motherfucker.
We can't have no zombies loitering around here. Next thing you know, there'll be 2 of them, and then 4
My
of
problem
them.
was you ran up there next to him when I could have shot him with an arrow and drawn him to it.
That's true.
Pipe tape.
I was just bloodthirsty.
That's gotten many a league player killed.
Yeah.
Usually what gets every player killed.
Yeah.
For a man who put a point into Iron Gut, I sure as hell do get hungry and thirsty a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yep.
You also have one of the most intensive things that you're doing.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Digging and chopping and mining.
fair. Over and over and over.
And over again.
I'm going to go to pee. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Again and again and again.
AFK. Already fucking...
It's 5:22 in the PM. In real life. And you're all watching Perspectives.
What's his name? The actor.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. Man, he's hysterical. That's awesome.
Don't hear about him much anymore.
Well,
don't know
with
if he
all the
just-
joy he's brought to people's lives, I hope he's living great.
I just, it's a lot of. I saw a thing on YouTube when I scroll through, then there'll be actor and actress birthdays.
Mhm.
And I saw that Kathy Bates is like 77 now or something, and she's slimmed down a bit. I was like, I'm actually kind of surprised. She's doing pretty good for in the upper 70s.
Mhm.
But I didn't think she was that young, though. She's one of those people that when you look at them, they never seem like they're that young.
Hmm.
For some reason, they always seem like they're somewhere hovering around about 35.
I don't know.
But she still looks the same or better than she did before. So I was like, well, I guess on the upside, you're not getting worse. Not actively getting worse. So. guess it must be pretty hot.
It is.
There's only two possible options here. Either it's really hot, and well, I guess or it's a thing where I drank that milk with those cookies.
That's weird.
And the hormones in it basically frigged up my internal system, so my skin burns basically. My skin heat
They
gets
cut
really
hours.
hot like it's a fever.
I don't know.
Republicans been trying to destroy mail service for a long time.
Yeah. I think they got one of their biggest problems with their mentality, with their mindset, is they think that anything privatized is somehow going to be better. It's like, no, some things don't need to be privatized.
Two things.
Privatized also can go the other way too. They can get worse.
Just a few things, actually.
It's all about profit.
No empathy, too much greed, too much stupidity and ignorance.
It's like pretty much every governmental system. If you don't measure it properly, if you don't do it right, then it will turn bad. But like with capitalism, it's like, well, you have to have someone keeping an eye on it. You can't just let it run free reign.
I kind of understand people saying capitalism, but it also sort of annoys me because it's like the system would work if you just didn't make it profit over people. Just make profit. It can be a priority without being over people, but no.
The argument that everyone's made since way back when about communism is the same thing. It's like, if it weren't for how the people responded,
right,
then yeah, it sounds good on paper.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea, but when people abuse things, some people.
Are you making drinks out of that water?
I can do whatever out of it. There's a red tea.
Need something to drink.
Okay.
It's in the food box.
Yeah.
I'll make red tea.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my conclusion after a while. I don't remember when I came to it, but my conclusion was it basically boils down to who's in charge. You can have a monarchy, and as long as the king is a good person and he's got good people, it can be good for people.
That sounds like you're in favor of tyranny.
The problem is it also opens you up for, when there's a bad one.
Here.
And so that's...
I say, thank you, Dad. I say there's always a bad one, and therefore you have to have a system where there's some form of accountability other than people just going, okay, get out the guillotines again. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a perpetual cycle.
I think in some levels that was the kind of, or presumed anyway, the benefit of how our system is set up with the original Constitution, is that it was designed in such a manner that kind of is supposed to compensate for people being terrible.
The branches are supposed to compete a little bit. And honestly, that's the same problem that one of the overarching problems of the idea of a capitalist market is that companies compete. But when companies start being owned by the same entities and people, and they don't compete anymore, they just price fix, well, it doesn't even have to be a monopoly for that. You drive down the road and look at the gas prices. They're all the same. Or within a couple of cents of each other, usually.
One of the problems I encountered with the process is
it's amazing.
If I look at it in the sense of over time, I was like, well, this is kind of almost an inevitable thing. Eventually, one or two companies are going to basically swallow everything up. And then you're left with no competition, and there's no reason for them to compete with each other because they can just talk and be like, hey, we don't need to do this. We just all take it. Just take it all together,
They already do that.
Yeah, but also it is owned by all the same people.
I'm saying that seems to be, when I think about it in a long-term sense, that seems to be an inescapable kind of thing. So you have to have people to kind of reset it somewhat. Well, you have to have things like people, breaking monopolies and stuff to kind of break it back down a little bit. And
I'm out of wood, Dad.
Okay. In that bill that they're pushing, one of the things that's in there is that for 10 years, no state can make regulations regulating AI for 10 years.
Now,
You know why that? Why that's in there?
I'm a big
would be.
I'm a big proponent of AI, and I still think that that's stupid.
You know why it's in there?
Oh yeah.
They don't want anybody. The people that are backing them are people that are involved in AI.
Yeah.
And they don't want any state telling them, no, you can't do that in our state.
Well, just look what all the companies, including Google, did. They were just basically taking all the pictures from all over the internet. They didn't ask anybody for permission. And when it came out, what did they do? They just tried to do it faster. Before the legal challenges could be put into place.
The woman that was the head of the consumer fraud department or whatever, she came out and said as much in a report, and she was fired the next day.
Yeah. Same thing with
corruption. Corruption is just off the charts.
Yeah, same thing with justice or anything else. You've got to have accountability. And like Andy said, which is just a reiteration of it, but basically, it's just going to be a perpetual cycle. Eventually people are going to get sick of the shit, and it'll rise to the level of violence when they've been pushed around too much. And then it'll all start over.
Or the majority will decide they want a king.
Which is going to lead to the same thing anyway.
I don't think having a king or not having a king is going to affect that. In fact, I think probably if we switch to a monarchy or an oligarchy, even if it's not technically now, but like we officially switch to one of those systems, I really doubt it would do anything but make things worse. I can't see where it would improve anything.
I agree. I just feel like the system is like generally fixable, but instead people are like, capitalism bad, and I'm like,
I think
what is your better idea?
I think one of their problems is people are quick to judge. They do that too a lot, where they kind of, when they go, sometimes they have a tendency to kind of jump off the deep end into the deep end with it.
It's
like fixing it is something that can be done, but you've got one squad of people who thinks, oh, nothing's wrong, it's perfect, and the other squad of people saying we need to just burn the entire thing to the ground.
Right, which it needs to be productive and tuned and maintained, whatever system is in place.
Yeah,
and you just have to work on the systems, because what's the point in switching the systems when we're going to end up doing the same thing? If we have the same problems, well, that's not going to do anything.
I'm just saying that, if people decide this is the way they want to live, if the majority of the people, then, I'm not going to go out and shoot a bunch of people because I don't agree with that system. I'll just try to live within just try to live within that system,
That's not going to help, and like the only thing that would help is if you were going to take violent action. You'd have to take violent action against the ones that are actually creating the problems, and not just.
Life is just too precious to die for a cause that ain't something that the majority don't want. Now, if they were rounding up people and executing them, I'd have to take a stand.
Well, you'd feel differently if it was you and yours being transported out of the country. It's proximity. A lot of people don't give a shit until they're affected personally. That's the same.
I give a shit. I just if the majority of the people want our country to be that way, then it'll be that way. I'm not gonna kill people over it. I don't like it. I vote against it.
Well, if the majority,
I'm not gonna kill people over it.
If the majority of the country turns toward more further of this, what I call Nazism, where it's lack of empathy, lack of care for people, and just a greed and a misunderstanding on a fundamental level of how many resources we actually have, then I mean, I would stand up to that. So I'm going to be one of the ones that would be mowed down.
Well,
I think one of the
Unless I get particularly spiteful and hateful and sneaky, but I don't think I'm sneaky enough to sneak around and poison people.
something can be wrong and still, if the majority
not
of the people,
warranting violence, I guess.
yeah, if the majority of the people want a society like that, then I'm, I of course there's a line. Of course there is. I would die over, slavery and shit like that. Let's fight. But if people just, if they want to wake up in the morning and they've got a king or some shit like that, well, I guess we'll just try a king then. I don't know. There was kings around before there was America,
And it doesn't
So,
really. It only really
I
matters.
don't like the idea.
It
But
only really matters in semantics anyway, because kings, oligarchy, rich people,
they're all the
billionaires.
same. Yeah,
It's the same
I
shit,
agree.
and
I
it creates the same problems
Yeah.
because
think that
they get to where they can control the laws and don't have accountability.
Yep.
I think that
I'm
to
here
extent,
passing
there's a level
gas.
there's a level of stuff where it has to be. There's something. I have now reached the store as well. There's something that we need to get past. There's some hurdle or something that we need to get straightened out, and then we can kind of move forward. But right now, whatever the one or more things, that humans just for some reason can't wrap their heads around, then until we get there, then it's going to be kind of a recurring theme.
Yeah, it's not humans. It's America.
No, it's humans. Just like I always thought about that. I was like, even if communism did work, well, you've still got a whole set of people, the military, with guns.
It works as well as any other governmental
They're not
system.
going to try to take over.
It
Any government unbridled.
works as well as any
not-
other governmental system. Here's the issue: the governmental system is in place for the community at large, the people, and if there's accountability and structure and order, and you can keep operating in what's the word I'm looking for? In the for the people, for their benefit, overall, then as long as you can do that, you'll be fine. But like, for example, capitalism, when it runs rampant to the point where you just start putting profit over people, and then the people who are rich start affecting laws and not having accountability,
Like it is now.
it slides into the same problems.
Yeah.
What I'm insinuating is that it's
Oh, boars on me. Oops.
Boars were. Ben's
I don't know
back
where you're
here.
at.
He's back. Back past the DPS.
Shit,
know
I
why
missed
I'm running
again.
towards you. I'm probably gonna just die with you if I do.
I'm not. Well, I almost said I didn't get hit until now.
There you
You motherfucker.
Two down.
Wounded me.
We got
I
meat
will
now.
Harvest this.
Yes, please.
Well, I want to get on that one.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, if we can,
I would
we'll
have
save
been
you.
deep. I may have been a deep shit there. Although they weren't catching up until I tried to go past one of them.
Yeah. Here.
I'm just trying to get my
Get done.
quest or whatever.
I was just saying when you get done, then
Oh, right.
here's 2 of your iron arrows.
Here's meat, bone, leather, fat.
Hold on to it.
Cowabunga.
I guess that's my thing is like when I view like it's not a system so much as it seems to be something with where humans seem to be right now, like instinct, nature, whatever. I don't friggin' know, but something with where our headspace is right now, and I'm like, it needs to change. You know, and
It's
when
a
we
collective.
once we switch that up, then we'll be able to move on and move up.
One of
It's a
the
collective madness. I know that.
ready?
one of the smart yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
One of the smartest things I ever heard said in regards to it was by John Stewart. People want simple solutions for complicated problems. So until we until we stop relying on convenience and actually work to fix the problems that aren't so easy to correct, I think we're still going to be in the same boat.
I think one of the problems we got is nobody can agree on what the problem is.
That is,
Everybody wants it to be an easy fix.
yeah. Everyone wants a silver bullet, just like
Yeah.
weight loss and disease. They want a magic pill they can take, and you'll never be sick again.
And yet, look
Some
at all the
people-
diets that exist. They all say with vegetables and exercise.
Exercise, yeah.
Some
I
people-
wonder what makes you healthy.
Some people want to fix hunger. Some people are more worried about if a man goes into a woman's bathroom. or
It's
something,
proximity.
you
It's
know.
proximity, and with some of the other issues, just a matter of
I do
ignorance.
Priorities.
There are
Priorities.
things like that that I feel like need to be examined a little closely than people seem to.
The
But
priorities.
at the same time, I do understand that, you know, food is going to come first.
Dogs up.
There is hierarchy.
Dog.
Dogs down.
Dogs down.
The priorities are out of whack.
I missed
A
all
lot
those
of people.
times.
A lot of people are. It's like an issue of first world problems. What affects your convenience? And the people that are wealthy, that have more time to deal with this stuff and less accountability, basically, when they make mistakes. Basically, when they have more control over it, they're worried about shit that they wouldn't be worried about if they were starving.
Yeah. I'd say that's a main point is how that is, the whole hierarchy of it. Like, you know, well, of course you're worried about, you know, this random thing over here because
Right.
you've got nothing better to do.
That's why I say
You're not
proximity.
desperately struggling or working heavy, you know, whatever.
That's why I say proximity is so important because, you know, you give a shit about what is near you, what the problems are that you face, and it's harder for you to cure, especially if you don't understand, if you don't empathize with other people.
I mean, that was always funny to me because I would hear things at times that would become humorous, whereas like, oh yeah, well we definitely know the plight of this group or that group. I was like, dude, you've barely ever seen part of that group.
Andy, there's a
How would you
spear hunter in the
possibly
wood
know
crate.
their plight?
Spear hunter in the wood crate for you.
Dude,
You know,
you barely leave your house without an escort, you know.
right.
There's a lumberjack and a shotgun shells in there. Lumberjack.
But again,
Um,
proximity, you know.
Yeah. I always thought that was kind of something that came across as silly as there's a lot of that stuff online that's like, you know, we need to do this or that can't stand or whatever. It's like, dude, you haven't left your living room in like,
Corkscrew Caverns. I'm headed.
you know.
Wait a
Did we
minute.
get the box up on
I
top?
didn't get my
I'm
supplies yet.
wailing on
Hold
it
on.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I double check before I left.
Hey, there's a handyman and a scrap and you want me to just bring them down?
I'm coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Stuff there and gasoline.